Hey there, it's Leona. Welcome to Zen Mindfulness Shodo. Today, we're gonna practice Shodo meditation while focusing on the Hiragana character for Hu. So, let's begin a beautiful journey together. When you write a character, imagine a square about the size of the character that you are gonna write like this. First, I'm gonna write it. Then I'm gonna explain the points and tips for writing the character beautifully in detail. Let me explain in detail. The first stroke begins slightly above and to the right of the center point of the top left square. This line, as I'm writing it now, curves upward. But you could also write it curving downward. Choose whichever you prefer. The angle is about 30 to 45 degrees, and it moves downward to the right until the middle vertical line is in the center. Rather than writing this line with the same thickness from start to end, it looks better if you don't press too hard at the starting point and gradually thicken it as you move down to the right. Then, at this end point, check towards the starting point of the second stroke in the lower left, like this. Lower the pen from the end point of the first stroke to the lower left, and start the second stroke at about the height of the middle horizontal line, to the left of the middle vertical line. This line can be written curving upward like this. Or you can check at the end point of the first stroke and continue with that movement in a slightly S-shaped curve. Or write it in a way that appears connected from where you checked. Either way is fine. As for how far down to the right you should go, it's around the area below the end point of the first stroke. If you don't go too far to the right of that, this part will align in a straight line, so the entire full character won't look too slanted. Curve down, and then check towards the starting point of the third stroke. So this part becomes thin. Check like this, and then with that momentum from the check, write in a way that looks connected from the end point of the second stroke to the starting point of the third stroke. The third stroke starts slightly above and to the left of the center point of the bottom left square. This time, to put it extremely, write a line curving to the lower left and moving down to the right. The angle is about 45 to 60 degrees. And this line as well looks better if you gradually thicken it like this as you move down to the right, rather than writing it with the same thickness from start to end. It gives more movement to the line. As for how far down to the right you should write this third stroke, it's a bit lower than the lowest point of the second stroke, like this. Then, check towards the starting point of the fourth stroke in the upper right. This time, move up to the upper right with this pen movement in the direction you checked. The fourth stroke starts from a position a little bit higher than the starting point of the third stroke. This line curves to the right or upward as it moves down to the right. The end point of the fourth stroke should be higher than the end point of the second stroke, as this gives the entire character an upward tilt, making it look more confident and beautiful. This line as well looks better if you gradually thicken it like this as you move down to the right, as it expresses the pen movement better. By doing this, you can also better express the curved beauty characteristic of hiragana. When writing fu, some people might write all the lines connected. For example, coming from this first stroke like this, checking here without lifting, then coming like this. Not releasing here either, but coming like this. And not releasing here either, but coming like this. Some people might write connecting the lines like this. But this isn't wrong either. So I think where to break is up to the individual. There's no right or wrong. So you might connect only the first and second strokes and separate the third and fourth. Or separate the first and second, but connect the third and fourth. There are various ways to write it. So please consider this as one example of writing fu, with all strokes separated. Why don't you try practicing with these points and tips in mind to write the fu you like? The key points for writing hiragana characters, as explained in the video, are concisely summarized in this book in a similar manner. The book allows you 3 pages to practice each character. It can be purchased on Amazon. See the link in the description. I'm gonna practice 1 page of this workbook this time, but you're welcome to practice as much as you want. If you're practicing with a pen, I recommend that you place a few pieces of paper under the page that you're writing on, so that the ink doesn't bleed onto the page under it. Alright, let's get started.